did you step inside a place that refuses to let time move the same way inside it? It was supposed to be just another detour, one of those countryside exploration trips where you find sheep pastures, old brick cottages, and sometimes an abandoned barn or two. But that day, what I found shouldn't have existed. I didn't mean to stop, but the rain came fast, harder than forecasted, and the only shelter I saw was an old stone church at the end of a dirt path. No signposts, no fences, just standing there like it had been forgotten by time. What struck me wasn't the building's age. It was that there was no door, no wooden frame, no hinges, just an empty archway that opened into pitch-black silence. I should have kept walking, but something about it pulled me in, not like curiosity, more like recognition. As if I'd been there before in a dream I could never remember. I stepped inside. The moment I crossed the arch, the sound vanished. The rain outside gone. No wind, no echo of footsteps, just stillness. The pews were untouched by dust. Candles melted halfway. On the altar sat a silver bell, slightly tarnished but undisturbed. And carved into the back wall, barely visible in the dim light, were the words, "The faithful enter freely, the faithless stay forever." A strange coldness crept in, not on my skin, but deeper. Like my bones remembered something I didn't. I turned to leave. The arch was still there, but behind it, I didn't see rain, or trees, or the dirt path. Only fog. Hauntimation, original. I walked out anyway, or at least I thought I did. The air outside felt heavier. The sky was still gray, but unnaturally still. I checked my phone, no signal. More strangely, the date had jumped by 3 days. I blinked, rubbed my eyes, checked again. 3 days gone. I started walking fast down the hill toward the road. The silence followed me. No birds, no insects, just my footsteps. And then at some point, not even those. When I finally made it to the nearest town, the man at the bus stop looked at me like I'd crawled out of a grave. "You all right, miss? Thought they tore that place down years ago." I asked him what he meant. He told me the church I described had burned down 30 years ago. Lightning strike. No survivors. I laughed until he showed me an old newspaper clipping on his phone. There it was, same church, same arch, but scorched, roofless, and in ruins. Sometimes I still pass churches and feel drawn to their doors, but I never step in anymore, because ever since that day, when I close my eyes at night, I don't dream. I hear the bell, and I know one day it's going to ring again. Have you ever seen your best friend when they're supposed to be asleep? I wish I never opened that tent. It was supposed to be a peaceful weekend. Just me and Zoe, camping deep inside the Oregon woods, far away from noise, signals, and people. We found the perfect spot. No other campsites. just tall trees and silence. The first day went well. We pitched our tents, lit a small fire, cooked noodles, and sat under the stars talking about random things. The forest felt calm, too calm. No birds, no insects, just stillness. I noticed it, but I didn't say anything. That night, I woke up suddenly. I didn't know why, but something felt off. Then I heard a whisper. "Come outside." It was Zoe's voice. I sat up, confused. Was something wrong? I slowly unzipped the tent and peeked out. She was standing a few feet away, just at the edge of the firelight, her back facing me. "Zoe," I called out softly. She didn't respond. I stepped out a little more, and that's when she turned. Her face, it was Zoe's, but there was something horribly wrong. Her smile was stretched too wide, like it was stuck there. Her eyes were black, not dark, just completely black. And she was wearing a dirty, torn gray shirt. But I remembered clearly. Zoe had gone to sleep wearing her red hoodie. I froze. Then she took a step forward. I panicked and jumped back into my tent, zipping it shut with trembling hands. I held my breath. A moment later, I heard slow, soft footsteps around the tent. Then her voice. "Why do you run? I just want to talk." I didn't move. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there, waiting for the sun. When morning came, I stepped out, heart still racing. And there she was, Zoe, coming out of her own tent, yawning and stretching like nothing happened. "I slept like a baby," she said. "You okay? You look like a zombie." I wanted to tell her, but I didn't, not yet. We spent the day walking a trail near the campsite. I tried to act normal, but I couldn't stop thinking about what I saw. At one point, we came across a strange sight. A circle of small animal bones laid out neatly on the ground. No footprints, no blood, just the bones and silence. Zoe laughed nervously and said it was probably some weird forest ritual. I didn't laugh. That night, we tried to sleep early. I told myself maybe it was a dream. Maybe I imagined it all. But then I heard it again. My voice. "Zoe, come out here. You have to see this." I wasn't speaking. I was wide awake, sitting up in my tent. Zoe called from her side. "Did you just call me?" I whispered no. She unzipped her tent and peeked out. Then I heard her gasp, a sharp, terrified breath. I peeked through my tent flap, and I saw it too. It was me standing near the trees, but not me. Its head tilted slightly, unnaturally. Its eyes, again, black and hollow. And it was smiling, not like a person smiles, like something pretending to be human. We both rushed out of our tents. I grabbed the flashlight. As soon as the light hit it, it hissed a high, unnatural sound and darted back into the darkness faster than anything I've ever seen. We grabbed our bags and ran. Branches scratched our arms, leaves whipped our faces. I could hear something running beside me, but when I turned, nothing. Just shadows. Then I heard Zoe scream. turned around and saw her standing still, staring ahead. I followed her eyes and saw two Zoes. One was out of breath, scared, her clothes dirty from running. The other was completely still, her face too smooth, too clean, her eyes black, her smile wide. I shined the flashlight directly at it, and it hissed again, vanishing into the trees. The real Zoe grabbed my arm. "Don't stop, run." We didn't stop until we reached the car. The drive back was silent. We were too shaken to speak. No signal on our phones. The radio didn't work. Just the sound of the tires on the road. As the trees finally cleared and we reached the highway, I let out a breath of relief. Zoe looked at me and smiled. "We made it," she said, but something in her voice made my stomach turn. I looked down at her hoodie. It wasn't red anymore. It was gray, torn, dirty, just like the thing I saw in the woods. And her smile, it was still there. Too wide, too calm. Have you ever heard about a forest where people say, you can only take 9 steps. If you dare to take the 10th, you'll never return? I didn't believe it, of course. I mean, who would? But curiosity is a dangerous thing. It all started when I decided to go on a solo trek through a forgotten mountain trail, somewhere deep in the hills that border an ancient village. The villagers warned me. Their eyes dark with fear, they said, "Don't enter the forest, and if you do, don't take more than 9 steps." I laughed it off. Superstitions, I thought. Legends meant to scare children. That night, I found myself at the edge of that forest. The air was thick, heavy. The moonlight barely touched the ground beneath the towering trees. It felt like the forest had swallowed the stars. I stepped in, 1 step, and the world behind me felt miles away. 2, 3. The silence grew louder, if that makes sense. By the 5th step, I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. The air smelled of wet earth and something else, something old, like decay. When I reached the 9th step, I paused. That's when I heard it. A voice, soft, broken, like wind passing through hollow bones. "Don't take the 10th. I froze, my breath hitched. I spun around, searching the shadows, but saw nothing. Just trees, so many trees. But my curiosity, it was stronger than fear. I lifted my foot, and I took the 10th step. The moment my foot touched the ground, the forest changed. The silence shattered. Wind howled through the branches. The trees, they seemed to move, bending towards me. And the ground beneath my feet felt alive. I turned to run, but the path behind me had vanished. The forest had closed in. Then I saw them. Faces in the bark of the trees, twisted in silent screams. Their eyes glowed faintly, like dying embers. And they watched me. A figure emerged from the darkness ahead. An old woman, draped in tattered robes, her face hidden beneath a hood. She carried a lantern, its dim, flickering light the only warmth in that cold place. "Why did you not listen?" she whispered. I couldn't speak, couldn't move. Every soul who takes the 10th step belongs to the forest. You're one of us now. I shook my head, backing away. But the trees shifted, blocking my path. "There is one way out," she said, raising the lantern. The faces in the trees moaned. A terrible, hollow sound. "Carry the lantern. Guide the next lost soul. Only then will the forest let you go." I wanted to scream, to run, but I knew there was no escape. With trembling hands, I reached for the lantern. The moment I touched it, the forest fell silent again. And the woman, she faded into the trees, her face becoming one of those trapped souls. Now I walk these woods, lantern in hand, waiting for the next traveler who dares take the 10th step. So if you ever find yourself at the edge of that forest, remember, count your steps and stop at 9, because I'll be waiting. What would you do if you stumbled upon an eerie doll in the woods? I've always been drawn to the unknown. There's something about walking through the woods alone. It sends shivers down my spine. It's like the trees are watching, listening, their branches creaking softly in the wind. But this time, I wasn't just out for a casual hike. I had a mission to explore the depths of these woods, to find something that could give me the chills. As I walked, the trail began to thin out. The trees grew tighter, taller, and soon I was completely surrounded by dense foliage. The only sounds were the rustling of leaves and the snapping of twigs beneath my feet. I had been walking for hours, and for a moment, I thought I was completely alone. That's when I saw it. Half hidden behind a tree trunk was a doll, an old porcelain doll. Its face cracked, eyes made of glass that seemed to stare right through me. I froze. Something about it felt wrong. The doll wore tattered clothes, its tiny dress stained with age and dirt. It didn't belong here, not in the middle of nowhere. And yet, there it was, sitting perfectly upright, like it had been placed there intentionally. I couldn't look away. I moved closer, each step heavier than the last. The air grew colder, the light around me dimmer. And then, I felt it. I was being watched. I looked around. No one, no movement, but the doll's glassy eyes. They felt alive, following me. I reached out to touch it, and the wind stopped, completely. Then I heard it, a faint giggle, somewhere between the trees. I spun around, nothing. Again, a twig snapped behind me, and when I turned, the doll was closer. I didn't see it move. I didn't hear it, but it was now just a few feet away. My skin was crawling. I turned and ran. Didn't stop. Didn't look back. Back home, I couldn't stop thinking about it. That doll wasn't just some random object. It had a presence. The woods made me feel small and vulnerable. But the doll, it made me feel seen, and not in a good way. Some places are better left unexplored.